I've been thinking a lot about why this topic of other mothering is so important to me. Like, why am I so overly obsessed with the thought of loving and mothering and nurturing and being there, being a motherly presence for students and children that are not mine? Like, why is it the thing that kind of makes me tick? Why is it the thing that lights me up if I'm randomly in a grocery store and happen to connect with a 4-year-old that I'm meeting for the first time? Like, why is this my thing? And I've just been in deep thought about this. I think because of the work environment that God has placed me this past year and a half specifically, that has me just really in deep thought about why I connect and seek to connect with students and children in the way that I do. I often joke that I used to mother ladybugs and roly-polies because I would, I'm the oldest of two girls, and I would often play house, and I'm 6 years older than my sister. And so when she was a little baby, sometimes I would dress her up in like my doll clothes. I don't know if some of y'all 90s, 80s, late 80s babies remember there would be pajama sets, like full-blown pajama sets, and then there was a little mini pajama dress, for example, that was really supposed to go on the doll, but I would manage to put it on my baby sister. And of course, she was like a little baby and couldn't really play with me in that way. So when I wasn't playing house with her, I don't know why this is tickling me. When I wasn't playing house with her, I was down below the stairs of our home. I drape like covers on each side to make it my house, and then my children were the roly polies and the ladybugs, and I'd bring them in the house and present them to my mother as like her grandchildren. I've mothered ladybugs and roly polies since I was a kid, and then um, when I was around children, we would often play house, especially in the summer. So like my mom she worked on the Alameda County base back in the day, which has since been shut down for some 35 years or so. Maybe a little less. But anyway, we would attend the summer camp. My little sister was too young. And we often played house in the summer. And of course, I always had to be somebody's mom. And then later, I got married. And even before my husband and I had children of our own, we would, often, spend time with the youth and the children where we worshiped and partook in youth ministry. And now we have 3 children of our own. Our oldest will be 18 next year, and we're still heavily immersed in the youth and just ensuring their well-being, and me specifically serving as another mom, just as I would look out for my own children. Now that I've had my own for some time, this yearning desire to love and nurture kids is something that is just in me. And it's not because of I happen to be married to a minister, and so I'm a quote first lady, and there are certain elements that come along with that. When you're married to the man of God, a lot of times it's presumed that you're going to be over the women's ministry, and you're going to be the one maybe in the kitchen or working with the youth. These things and interests that I have in other mothering, it's completely independent of the role that I have as my husband's wife, and something that's in me. So I've just been really in kind of deep thought around this, and I honestly, like, I think that just as a woman of color, it's in us to not only nurture our children but the children of the village. It's something that was in us from the beginning, pre enslavement, and it reigns true. But again, I've still been in contemplation of why. Like, why is this a thing? It wasn't until 2019 that I had an opportunity to launch my own consultancy, just like a mom, to ensure that students receive this built-in, organic, if you will, person to nurture and love, to support them while at school. Othermothering consists of 5 pillars. The first one is a pedagogical, and this is in no particular order, a pedagogical commitment to learning, relatedness, advocacy, care and concern, and when necessary, a financial commitment to students. God has blessed me to be able to form a business that doesn't always, when I'm actually immersed in the work, it doesn't feel like work, because this is something that he's given me since I was a 5-year-old, nurturing roly-polies and ladybugs, to later being involved in youth ministry and serving students, to then having my own children, yet still somehow connecting with the random kiddo in the grocery store. My kids and husband laugh at me now, and they know that that's just me, and something compels me that something is likely. I'm gonna, not even likely, I know that it's the Holy Spirit working through me to ensure that whoever that kid is, that he or she receives that love and attention and nurturance that they need at that time. I know I'm not the only one that has this yearning, burning desire to love on children in that way. This is heart work, as someone would say. And I just felt compelled to share with you all a little bit more about what Othermothering is and why it lights up my world, and how God has blessed me to not only launch a business, but to have research to back what it is that I do. So I launched my work, my business, while I had actually just completed my principalship. I was blessed with an opportunity to serve as principal for a school year of a private school, and concluded that principalship, and knew that I was being called to do something bigger, something greater, something maybe even a little bit more riskier, but something that was true to me, and something that I believed and still believe, despite all of the roller coaster and shifts, and you can think of all the adjectives necessary to describe just drastic changes that have occurred over the past 6 years since the start of the business. I know this is something that God has called me to do, and I was able to complete my dissertation on my own agency, and contrary to the wise counsel of my committee members who had my back, a group of just amazing women, and most of them were kind of like, well, maybe you should consider, at least 2 of them tried to encourage me to consider completing my dissertation on another agency, or just or maybe a related topic, but not my own agency, because the fear was that if I found data to invalidate the necessity for this work, then I could very well be researching my way out of a business. And my response then, and I'm so happy that I had the courage to move forward. My response then was, and I do it again, if I found data to invalidate this work, then I did not need to be doing the work. Gratefully, I'm grateful that I did find plenty of research to validate the need for this Othermothering work, and I am just grateful and honored to share how God turned something he put in me as a 5-year-old into my life's work. All right, y'all, take care.